Welcome to Tarot and Oracle for the Soul. I apologize, these cards are a little wonky, but um I really wanted to come on. I'm not really gonna do like a card pull for you guys, but I want to talk about a question that keeps coming up for the majority of my professional tarot readings, tarot and Oracle readings. And it's all, what are the next 3 years gonna look like? So these cards right here are a lot of the responses I'm getting. And I remind people that we are all dealing with a shadow. The shadow is coming up to be healed. These undercurrents of racism, sexism, bigotry, Christian fundamentalism have been undercurrents and controlling our systems for far too long. And need to be corrected, course corrected. We have a long way to go in terms of true equality. And so this is the new beginnings. We need patience and planning. So people, my message, how do I say this, right? My message to people is pay attention to where you put your focus. We all know don't watch the news, but do you also know don't argue with trolls? Don't waste your time on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere. Don't waste your time arguing with trolls. It's going to deplete you. It's going to leave you feeling hopeless. Right now, it's really important for all of us to be focusing on our solar plexus. My advice is when you wake up in the morning, place your hand over your solar plexus, which is, right underneath your chest. It's kind of where your stomach is. Focus on this color yellow, because that's the color of the solar plexus, and say, I am safe. I am protected. The sacral, that is just under your belly button, put your hand there and say, I am creative. And also focus on your root chakra. Focus on your root chakra and say, I am safe. I am grounded. I am protected. You want to focus on these bottom three right now, because what's really coming up with this administration is dealing with feeling lack of personal power, feeling lack of creativity, feeling lack of safety and security. So we need to focus as a collective on these three base chakras in order to feel stronger. This is a spiritual warfare going on. This is being fought online. And not to take the other party's slogan, but I will use it because this is apt. There's going to be a lot of fake news, okay? Don't take the rage bait. That is key. No rage bait, okay? Stay in your personal power. Stay in your lane. You have wisdom, okay? Right now, it's all about community and what you can do for your community. How can you connect with your community? What can you do for your community? If you don't live in Texas and you don't vote in Texas, don't worry about Texas. If you don't work or live or vote in California, don't worry about California. Okay? This is all done to break our spirits. Okay? I'm all for voting. I'm all for protesting. Do what you can do. Okay? And I'm going to give you some people to follow who offer constructive things to do. I just watched Elizabeth, I think it's like Crownice McLaughlin. I'll link her page and her video about quietly being active, quietly being subversive, quietly being of service to your community in ways that subvert this authoritarian regime, okay? We can't all be loud. We don't want to hide. We don't want to hide. We want to be active in our community, but we also don't want to be loud, right? We don't want to hide. That's key. But we don't want to be loud, okay? And I understand that, especially living in an evangelical Christian town. I'm not loud, but I don't hide. I wear my crystals around town. I wear my, I'm I run on crystals and coffee t-shirt around town. I wear my, we were the witches you couldn't kill shirt. Like, my husband wears his witch hat. People give him compliments all the time. We don't hide, yet we don't do things loudly either, right? So give her video a watch. Also, Perma Rose Permaculture has amazing content. If you can, if there's a meeting place, join Indivisible in your community. But if whatever you like to do, like if you like working with kids, help out big brother, big sister in your community. If you already have kids, get active with like setting up programs for kids in the school. Whatever you can do, whatever to build community, especially to build community for LGBTQ plus, or your community if you're non-Christian, or just even women's groups, joining women's groups, and or community gardens. I mean, I'm not a gardener, but if that's your thing, start a community garden. Like whatever your talent is, use it, create community. And I've tried here doing witchy meetups and things like that, and it doesn't work. But just quietly live in your truth. Share your light and your wisdom. It's really important to live your truth, be authentic, be who you are. Don't be afraid, don't back down. Bullies are more afraid of you than you are afraid of the bullies. We all have to have patience and plan and be strategic. So now isn't the time for hiding. It's not for putting your head in the sand, but it's also not to be out loud and in people's faces either. It's a tightrope act. But I do believe that in our daily lives, in our quiet resistance, and just being who we are, and just living in our truth, living in our light, living in our authenticity, is a really good way to subvert this, okay? It's definitely a scary time, and I am glad to call myself a witch right now. I'm glad that there's amazing books on the market that you can still go out and buy that will help support women. If you know, look into those books. Look into alternative health, healing, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, Reiki, hypnosis, herbologists, naturopaths, and just creating a strong network of people you feel safe with and that you connect with in your local community. I feel better now that I'm giving readings at Alien Enchantments because I'm around Mary and Sean, who are uniquely and proudly themselves. They don't hide. They're very open and accepting of everyone, and I love that. And I used to be like that until I've had some bad experiences with people who call themselves Christians, but I've been on the other side too, right? So I have empathy, but I do know that the bullies are feeling emboldened right now, and they feel that you can do whatever they want and wear whatever they want, say whatever they want. We can't cower at that, but I also don't want to poke their bear, but I do want to poke the bear. So be mindful. Be mindful of interaction. A lot of the people you think you're arguing with online are bots. They are AI. They are not even people. So don't waste your time, your energy, your focus. As we know, practicing witchcraft and tarot and oracle, your intention is key, right? Practice your invisibility spells. So if you need to go invisible, you can do that. Look up hexing, look up sigils to use for protection. Right now, protection magic, invisibility, self-empowerment are all really important. We need to have patience, we need to plan, but we need to build up our own self-worth, self-esteem, feeling secure within ourselves, within our communities, because as a collective, we are stronger. We're not going to let these people take away our light. We're not going to let these people take away our wisdom or hide it. You know, that's why it's called the occult, because it's hidden. It's no longer hidden. It's all out in the open, as it should be. Okay. I will say, you know, maybe some things like practices you practice, some spells should be secret. I don't believe in putting everything online. That's probably why you don't really see me doing spells or anything on my channel. For me, that's sacred. That's secret. That's just my belief, though. I know not everyone believes that, right? There is, you know, power in intention and more eyes on things at sometimes, right? If you get everyone to focus on that same intention or come together and meditate on something, it will create peace. It will lower anxieties. Okay. So be patient, plan, don't hide, shine your light, be who you are. It's really important to live your truth for the younger generations. It's really important to stand firm in who you are and your beliefs, and show the younger kids that your wisdom and your truth, and share that with them. Share what you know. Confronting the shadow is never easy, but we've got this. We can all survive the next 3 years. But as the knitting cult lady says, if we get riled up over every bill, if we get riled up over every text, tweet, rant, news, blah, 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 you are going to be burnt out. You are going to be in a ball in the corner of your room, and you're not going to be effective. Your creativity, your feeling of security, and your personal power will be gone. And that is the goal, right? That is the goal of this. This another card that keeps coming up is suffering in silence. We don't want that. There is no suffering in silence. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling scared, reach out to friends, reach out to families, you know, really have these discussions, how you're feeling, action plans. What if something happens? What if, you know, somebody that you don't want knocks on your door? What are you going to do? Do your research. I think I saw that Harvard is giving away free programs online on how to deal legally with those issues. Look it up. Educate yourself. Right now, it's all about educating yourself, building up your personal power, your community. Watch out for your neighbors. Watch out for your friends. Keep an eye on them. Do what you can in your community. But if something's happening in Texas and you live in Utah, don't worry about it. What can you do? What can you do? Nothing. Okay. Focus on what you can do. Focus on what you can change. Focus on your own education. And then when you learn something, pass it on. Either in YouTube videos or with your friends and family, or, you know, like I said, if you start like a women's group or a group for teens, pass this information on, okay? It's not a safe time, but it's also not a time to bury our heads in the sand. It's not a time to skirt away. It's not a time to shrink away. But we have to be smart. We have to be diligent and stealthy. And if you are into spells, work your spells, right? The last thing we want is to have people feeling powerless. The last thing we want is to people to feel scared. Once those things start taking root, they have won. So like I said, now that I'm out there more as a reader and in the shop where you would think I'd feel maybe more exposed, I feel safer because I have a strong community around me. And that is the importance of community right now. Isolating and watching TikToks and YouTube videos and Facebook reels and whatever else is not healthy. It's not healthy. Get out, join a group, join an organization, do what you can within your community, do what you can within your state, do what you can for your neighbors, for yourself, but don't get caught up in other states, don't get caught up in, it's good to be informed, but what can you do? It's just a form of energy harvesting. So that's going on right now. The issues is energy harvesting, taking away personal accountability and power, and making you think that you have no agency and no power. Because if you feel that way, you'll feel like, well, why go vote? Or, why protest? Or why even bother having a community garden? Why even bother getting to know my neighbor? Why even bother doing XYZ? That's what they want, right? So to survive the next 3 years, empower yourself. Share your wisdom, share your light, plan. We will get through this together. A lot of what you're going to be seeing coming up, like I said, it may or may not be true, but that's not the point. Think about why they're pushing these narratives. Think about why they're pushing this stuff. It's to get you in fear. It's to get you to feel powerless. I know the power of prayer works. I know the power of meditation works. I know that spells work. So get out there and do those things. All right. I just had to share this because literally every person I've read for, every question, it's been about that. And I just want everyone to know that you are safe. You are grounded. You are protected. You have community, and you have all these other people who feel as scared and lonely as you. You just have to reach out, find your people. And even if it's just 1 or 2 or 3 other people, that's all you need. That's all you need. All right. It feels a little weird to say this because this was like a heavy video, but this is my closing is, even in the face of all this, you'll still have to have fun and keep on shuffling. I'll see you next time.